Okay, I usually don't like to talk about anything negative or anything that was a scam that's got to do with other agents because that's none of my business. But I saw this posted in a Facebook group the other day and I think this is wild. What happened is this applicant used an agent to submit his tourist visa, and apparently it was granted, and he even ran a Vivo check. If you guys are ever unsure on this, you can go to Vivo check and check your visa status in Australia. He ran a Vivo check and it showed that he had a valid visa to Australia. Later, he went to check into his flight and he was actually denied boarding onto the plane because there was no visa. But he had just ran a Vivo check not long ago and it showed that he had a valid visa. What their said agent actually did is they made an application for a tourist visa for them, used the same passport details, but put a different country. Now, the Australian Immigration Department, they automatically grant some tourist visas if they're from a certain country or passport. So the agent lodged this application, used their same name, passport details, passport number, but they put a different country of passport. So Australia just probably granted this very quickly. So what I think happened is after the client actually checked that there was a visa grant, the agent went back in, updated the passport details to the right country of passport. So when you run a Vivo check, you can't find that visa grant anymore. This is just wild. Now, this is very unlikely that this was done by an actual registered agent or an immigration lawyer. There honestly is a lot of people posing to be agents, posing to be lawyers. So it's just really important to do your research before you engage someone to do this. I think a lot of people have seen this new CSOL list, so CSOL. And at the moment, it does say it's a draft and being used for consultation purposes only. However, a lot of people are worried that this means their occupation will be taken off the list because it's not on that CSOL list. But I want to clarify, this occupation list, even if it does become a reality, it's in relation to the core skills pathway. So you know how they announced in the migration strategy how there will be 3 new visas at the end of the year? Well, this is one of the streams. There's still 2 other streams and they still have occupation list as well. In addition, this again is different to your general skilled migration. So it's not relevant for the list for 190, 189 or 491. So I know a lot of people are getting worried about it, but it's just in relation to that, even if it does take place. For people who are wondering whether they should go on the 482 visa or wait for this new visa pathway, first of all, this visa pathway, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a temporary visa, which has pathways to permanent residency, similar to the current 482. And yes, there's talks about abolishing the 482 visa, but just like when they had the 457 visa, if you're currently on that visa, there will always be a grandfathering provision, which allows you to remain on that visa and transfer to a permanent visa like the 186 if you are eligible. So there's been some posts going around saying that they will reduce the work experience requirement for 482 visas from 2 years to 1 year. Now, I'm still looking for the official announcement in relation to that, but it's looking pretty good, which also makes a lot of sense because they've reduced the time for 485 visas. So now this is giving people another option. But yeah, stay tuned as I update when they officially announce it. Migration planning program levels for the year 2024-2025 is out, and this is what you need to know. Now, first of all, I know a lot of people were concerned about this, saying that they were cutting immigration, but last year the planning levels was 190,000 and this year is 185,000. So just down 5,000, which is not a lot in the scheme of things. But the biggest increase is in employer sponsored. And this is probably because they changed the requirements for 482 visas on the short-term stream. They now have access to the 186. So if you're looking to apply for any of the skilled visas, such as the 190, that number remains relatively the same. That's actually gone up to 33,000 spots. And as always, there will always be spots for family visas. So as you can see here, the total planning levels is 185,000. There will be a dip in temporary visas. So for example, the student visa grants, there is a bit of a dip there. But if the permanent program remains the same, that means that there still will be inviting people and also granting permanent residency applications as usual.